All right, by now, guys, you know I love talking about old wrestling. What you might not know is it's not my real passion. My real passion is helping people save money. My real passion is getting families out of apartments and into houses. My real passion is getting people's finances aligned so they can retire on time. I hated going to Walmart and seeing the greeter being 80 years old. She should not be working. She should be home. Why is she still working? Because she still has a mortgage. I want to help avoid that for you. The other thing I want to help you with, let's make sure your kids don't get saddled with student loans. If you've got a student loan, why did you get one? Maybe because your parents still had a mortgage. I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm being sincere. There's only so much money to go around. What I want to help you do is figure out where you are right now and where you want to be long term. And I do it at SaveWithConrad.com. I've been doing mortgages for more than 20 years. And during all that time, we've helped tens of thousands of families change their life. I mean, routinely, we're helping our podcast listeners save $500, $600, $700, $800 a month. But more importantly, get them out of debt faster and with cheaper monthly payments. But if you don't think it can happen for you, let me just tell you this. We are not the bank. We don't say no. We say not yet, but here's how. We're going to get you a game plan on how to improve your credit, how to save a little bit of cash, and how to get into that dream house. Maybe you're already in the house, but it would be nice if someday we could put a pool in the back, or one day we want to upgrade to hardwood floors, or remodel the kitchen, or get a badass master bathroom. I can help you do all of that with no money out of pocket right now at SaveWithConrad.com. You don't need perfect credit. You don't need money out of your pocket. And if we can't help you save some cash, we won't waste your time. Check it out, SaveWithConrad.com, NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. And hey, y'all, don't take my word for it. Check us out. We've got an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. And as if that's not enough, go look at our reviews. Read them and weep, haters. ConradReviews.com. You'll see more than 1,000 5-star reviews. Our average review is 4.72 stars. Find out how much money you can save. Take control of your life in 2023 by taking control of your finances. We're going to show you how to keep more of your own money. If you've got credit card debt, what are you paying on that? 14%? 28%? You know you can do better. With the mortgage, though, you may not know this, the interest you pay is tax deductible. And we can even show you how to skip your next 2 house payments. So if you can get a lower monthly payment, pay your debt off faster, get a greater tax deduction at the end of the year, and right now, right after the holidays, skip your next 2 payments, buddy, this is the biggest no-brainer in the history of the world. Find out how much money you can save right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com, or hey man, shoot me an email directly, Conrad@SaveWithConrad.com.
Welcome to WHW Monday. Tony Schiavone and Conrad Thompson.
Jim Crockett, First Arcade, 605 NWA, TV title, Cajun Omni, the Bunkhouse Stampede, Flair and Horseman, Garvin, Bogey, Magnum, Dusty, Express Tag Team, Turner, Bond, Mid-South Joint World Championship Wrestling.
Talking about the great years of World Championship Wrestling, the NWA, and Jim Crockett Promotions.
Tony and Friends North, they win. Look, Schiavone's back again. World title split off center stage. Bischoff, Disney, Hogan, and Nitro. New World Order and the Crow. Thunder, Russo, Arquette, Champ, Vinnie, Mac, simulcast. Tony's back with Conrad, not your classy podcast. Watch along, try not to laugh. Lois rules can't pass. This wasn't the initial plan. Tom Zig's a good-looking man. Klondike Bill, make a chair. Tommy, you come over here.
What happened when? WHW Monday. And now, let's go to the ring. And here's your co-host. Hey, hey, it's Conrad Thompson.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
Conrad, I'm great. How are you?
Why are you talking like this?
I listen back to some of the stuff that we do.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
That's
I say a lot.
I don't think you do.
Yeah, I do.
No, it works here. You don't say it on television.
No, but yeah, so I'm trying to just say my words and not say much of anything else.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to everybody from adfreeshows.com hanging out, riding shotgun with us. Today is going to be a fun episode, boys and girls. It's a Q&A. So the live chat should get hopping go ahead and throw us some questions for Tony Schiavone. It's hashtag Ask Tony Anything. You don't have to use that hashtag if you're a part of our live studio audience. Just throw us in there, and old Silva will come star you up, and we'll be ready to roll. Want to give a shout out though to John Hamilton and Josh Fields and Rajiv and Adam and Jim, and everybody's here. Greatly appreciate it. And we're going to have some fun today. Before we get going, I feel like we should remind everybody tonight is Dynamite. We're going to hear from the Elite in preparation for Kenny Omega and John Moxley's big steel cage match next week. Think about that. I mean, that's a week in advance. That's got a big fight feel. Soraya's going to be taking on Willow Nightingale. Orange Cassidy is going to team with the recently debuted Roderick Strong. Adam Cole, Bebe, and Bandito are going to take on the Jericho Appreciation Society. All Access is on. It's all happening tonight. And then, of course, Friday is Rampage, but that's in the evening. Friday morning, my goodness, all in tickets are on sale. The biggest show in AEW history. We throw around the word history a lot in wrestling, but this is shaping up. I mean, nobody on the inside has said this. I'm saying this from my standpoint. From my perspective, this will be the biggest thing that's happened in wrestling over there since SummerSlam 92. This will be like AEW's WrestleMania 3. This really is that level of history. Tickets go on sale on Friday. I want to give you the address in case you're thinking about going. It's ticketmaster.co.uk. That's ticketmaster.co.uk. And listen, I'm not trying to be a promoter. I don't work there. I don't care. But I am saying the rumor is there's been 60,000 email addresses sign up to reserve a spot for a pre-sale ticket. 60,000 folks. As a rule of thumb, they're not buying one ticket.
Right.
They're going to buy 2 or 3 or 4. I think the average is every email represents 2.5 tickets. Now, I'm not saying that means 90,000 people are going to buy tickets day one, but I am saying 90,000 will be 1.5, by the way. If you go 2.5, it's a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy to think 150,000 potential tickets. It's not real. 91,000, I think, is the total capacity. I could be wrong on that. These are all rumors and innuendo. The point is, the damn tickets are on sale this Friday. Don't miss out. Don't wait. Don't pay a ticket broker too much later. Just go get your damn tickets. Wrestling history is coming your way. I'm pumped, man. I got to go to that show.
That's what my next question was. Are you going to go to the show?
I think I have to go.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of the biggest shows in wrestling history, legitimately. Like, that's everybody says that every week because of some motherfucker used to come on Monday every week and say, "Oh, it's the biggest night in the history of our great sport."
Fucking Bischoff. Yeah.
Stupid motherfucker. Anyway, the point is, this really is that big, and I want to be there. I was at the first Dynamite. I was at the first pay-per-view. I want to be there.
Yeah. It's going to be unlike anything AEW's ever done, and I think it's safe to say that all of us are pretty pumped about it. So
it'll be the biggest show you've worked in front of too, right? Biggest crowd.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
If in fact we do put 90,000 in there, and I'm tempering my expectations for 90,000. We'll see what the ticket count is, after Friday. But I mean, I guess the biggest I've ever worked in front of was the Georgia Dome with Goldberg and Hogan, right?
You're going to beat that. That was 30 some odd thousand.
Yeah.
And I got to assume this is going to be very conservatively. I would feel comfortable saying you'll sell 40,000 tickets.
Yeah.
By the way, some people online will say, "Oh, epic fail." You're an idiot. If you think selling 40,000 tickets to a live wrestling event come on, that's huge. But 40, 50, 60, whatever it is, it's going to be gigantic. But just the idea that you have this much interest, man, that's so awesome. I'm just pulling for you guys. Can't wait to see what's next. And I can't wait to do our silly shit that we do here on the show. Now, of course, normally we do Watch Along Jones. That's what we do. But today is a very rare, a very special Ask Tony Anything. So you don't have to fire up your Peacock at all. I'm a little thrown off by that, though, Tony, because some of the most fun I have on these shows is making fun of the shit that we're seeing.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's even more fun when we get bored of what we see and then we just go completely off the rails. Do you think we'll go off the rails today?
Well, one thing that I've learned in the 7 years working with you is that you can create bullshit just about anywhere. So don't worry about it. You can. Don't worry about it.
I'm not stressed about it. Let me say that. Like, I know we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Hey, what'd you do over the weekend? Anything fun?
Cleaned out the garage. How
You
about
find
that
my
for
goddamn
being?
belt out there?
No, it's not in the garage.
Okay.
Had some work done on the fence around the house.
Is that to keep Lois in, or
No, she came out of the garage and sat down in a chair and helped us, kind of boss people around
well,
going through some things.
she's good at that.
Oh boy, that's her niche in life. So no, I didn't do anything fun this weekend, and that's by design.
You don't like good fun stuff. You're over that.
No, it's the age that I am. It just, and my wife can't get around. So what are you going to do, right? We ate sushi. I went and picked up sushi. We had that.
What's your favorite sushi? Like what's your go-to?
I like sashimi. I like the fish without the rice, just the raw fish, cut raw fish dipped in soy sauce. That's my favorite.
What's the bride like?
She likes these. It's called a grasshopper roll, king of the sea roll, and black scorpion roll.
Is she yelling at you right now for talking?
I don't
about
know
her
what she's doing.
order? You gonna yell at her?
I think she's talking to her niece, Nikki, on the phone.
Is her niece hard of hearing?
No, that's how Lois talks.
Oh, she's just
She
full,
talked a lot.
full volume Jones.
She's a loud bitch, man. That's what
Hey, so
I was going to try to get her on the phone here, but her and Nikki will be talking for hours. So hours.
Well, listen, before we get into our Ask Tony Anything, I saw a lot of really fun feedback about our first Memphis show. People really loved hearing some of the commercials. I even saw one guy who said, "Hey, man, what's wrong with renting furniture?" Well, it's throwing money away. That's what's wrong with it. But
yeah.
Anyway, what was the feedback that you got about our Memphis show?
I didn't get any feedback at all.
You mean you didn't get on social or look at it? That's what you mean?
Yeah, I don't go online or anything.
All right. Just help me a little bit if you don't mind.
Okay.
Did you enjoy the fucking Memphis show, Tony?
Yes, I did.
Do you want to do more fucking Memphis shows?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
but as far as going and looking for feedback, Conrad, I don't do that.
Well, I'm not saying that you have to seek it out. I'm just saying if you log into social, you'll see people tagging you and things.
I don't log into social. I log into Instagram and put pictures of my dogs up. That's all I do. Now you can check with my daughter. She logs in and she keeps it up to date, but I don't know. You want me to get her on the phone?
No.
Okay.
I'm all set. We have our private conversation, she and I. We don't need to make it a three-way with you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Carl Hayes says, with the NHL playoffs first round coming to an end, have you ever called a hockey game?
No, Carl, it's good talking to you. I know you're from up in the New England area, and you're a good sport of ours. But much like not looking for feedback, I never look for a hockey game.
Have you been to a hockey game?
One.
Was it a professional or college? Do you recall?
It was a professional. It was a minor league professional game.
And even the live experience wasn't for you?
Nah.
Is it because you didn't grow up with it? Because you're not Canadian? Because you don't like white people? What is it?
I didn't grow up with it. I think I grew up in the mountains of Virginia, and hockey was not even
a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I would think that to be maybe I'm wrong, to be a real hockey fan, you'd have to live in the city, grow up or live in a city where they had a pretty darn good hockey franchise, be from Canada, or be from a place where they had youth hockey and maybe you played it.
Right.
I think that's how you would be a hockey fan. So, no, I never did do hockey, never did call any hockey, never did get involved in it at all. So, now wait a minute. I did go to a Chicago Blackhawks game years ago.
That was in the Horseman era, right?
In the Horseman era. And we sat way, way, way up top. And I'm told, and they were good seats, in hockey, the higher up you go, the better your seats are.
Oh, really?
As far as being able to view things.
I see.
So, I mean, I know people like to be on the glass. I understand hit up against the glass and everything. But to me, higher up is the best. And we were way high up. We were in, and this was not the United Center. This was like the old, what was it, Chicago Stadium? I believe is where the Bulls played before the United Center was built. And this was back then because Bruce MacArthur, of course, and the Wirtz Corporation owned the Blackhawks, right?
Yes, they did.
And they even I even got a Blackhawks jersey.
How about that?
Make the dogs bark.
So Eric is up next. He's got a question that says, did you ever see anyone wrestle a bear?
Never did see anyone wrestle a bear, but I know Klondike Bill did. And I know I'd asked Klondike Bill, I said, Klondike, how do you wrestle a bear? He said, oh, it's easy. He said, first of all, they're muzzled. And I said, don't they have sharp claws? He said, yeah, but you can work around that. And he said, you just kind of go where you just go where the bear wants to go. Because you're not going to be stronger than the bear. He's going to be stronger than you. Whatever the bear wants to do, you just go with it. So never did see that.
Francis Reyes says, what style tips have you learned over the years that help you these days?
I have no style.
We know that.
I don't know of any style tips that help me.
Well, I think what he was looking for, said differently, is, Tony, can you tell us your thought process so we can learn from watching you what not to do?
Don't get fat.
Okay.
Okay. I think a beard helps in dissolving your double chin. Yeah.
Google. Yeah.
Brush your teeth twice a day. Floss at night. Use a rinse that helps, with your gums and your gum care. Also, later in life, use
Hang on. Are you telling me that you brush twice a day?
Yep.
Use mouthwash,
Yeah.
floss, do all that every day. But
Every
when I
night.
met you, you washed your ass once a week?
I'm sorry, what'd you say about my ass?
Well, I remember when we first met, you told me you showered once a week, whether you needed to or not.
No, I don't remember saying that.
And now, all these years later, you're telling me that you are a mouthwasher and a flosser
Yep.
and a twice a day brusher,
Right.
but a once a week wash out my assholer.
Right.
Do you see how that's a little like,
No, because if you don't clean your teeth, they'll fall out. And if you don't clean your ass, hopefully your hemorrhoids will fall out. It'll help you out.
what level do we need to get to on the WHW Patreon before we see these hemorrhoids we've talked about so much?
You don't want to see these hemorrhoids. There was a time we had a WCW event in Tupelo, Mississippi one time. And you hear a noise?
No.
Bug?
Yeah, it's still Bug's alive.
Okay. Yeah, I just hear a hiss. That must be on Dave Silva's end. So anyway, we had a Tupelo show in Tupelo WCW days, and my hemorrhoid was so bad I could barely walk. And I went to see a doctor, and doctor says it looks like when you take a piece of bubble gum, you know how you blow a piece of bubble gum, you blow it real big, and then you let it collapse to where it's just a wee little bubble. He said that's what it looked like in my ass. It was so painful. Now, that was 30 years ago, and thankfully I've not had that happen since then. But hemorrhoids are, I think, a passed down thing through generations, don't you?
I never put much thought into hemorrhoids and how they might be or might not be hereditary. As far as you know, do Matt or Chris have some stinky balloons hanging out of their ass?
I think they do.
Really?
I think that my father had horrible hemorrhoids, horrible, to the point to where they had thought about having hemorrhoid surgery for him. Hey, let me say this. New shirt at loisrules.com. Hemorrhoids are not a laughing matter.
Okay.
Just because they're balloon things stuck in your ass, they're not a laughing matter. Okay.
I think they're pretty funny. But I never had one.
That's right.
Hired Goon says there's a Flair promo where he says if Liz gets in the ring, he'd ride her too. And you can audibly hear Tony say, Jesus. How many times did Tony get yelled at by Bischoff for reacting off script on commentary?
Only one time. I've brought that up many times. And that was when I laughed about Larry's shirt that one time when the the outsiders came out and said, "Hello, living legend. Would you get a bowl of soup with that shirt?" And I just lost it. And Eric got on me. That was the only time.
You think Eric had a hard on for you?
No, I think that the reason that Eric got on me that time is probably that was one of the only times he really listened to us.
Well, I don't know that old Richard actually ever got a chance to ride Liz, but a lot of people probably did ride Space Mountain back in the day. But these days, the rumor and innuendo is a little Blue Chew wouldn't help, wouldn't hurt. It never hurts. It just enhances, right? Come on now.
Yeah.
This episode sponsored by Blue Chew. Let's talk about sex, fellows. Remember when you were always ready to go?
Yeah.
You can increase your performance, get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up. It's bluechew.com. Think about it as like performance enhancing drugs for your ding dong meat.
Ding dong meat. Ding dong meat. Ding dong meat.
Ding dong meat. I like it.
Ding dong meat. Ding. Instead of rapping, I'll just go ding dong meat.
Hey,
Ding
do that
dong
the whole time while I do the read. How's that?
Okay, now go ahead.
You can be the background.
Okay.
Just yeah, if you want to just sing a little song about penises in the background while I do this, that'd be good.
Okay.
Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. Take them anytime, day or night. So you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. Sign up at bluechew.com. Consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part? It's all done online. So no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew tablets are made right here in the USA, prepared and shipped directly to your door in a discreet package. Blue Chew wants to help you. That's right. You have better sex. Discover your options at bluechew.com. Chew it and do it. And we got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code WHW at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's bluechew.com. The promo code WHW to receive your first month free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring today's podcast.
Yo, baby, we are in the Blue Chew studios with our big dicks, our wee little pingies,
and everything in between.
Yeah, yes, sir.
My goodness. I have had so much fun, and we're just getting started. And as a matter of fact, I think we should go ahead and hit a couple of our this is fun. Hit a couple of our live studio audience questions.
Okay.
Jim says, Tony, today Aerosmith announced their alleged farewell tour starting this fall.
Oh.
Which band or bands would Tony have seen on their farewell tour?
Well, I saw Kiss on its farewell tour in 1996, and I guess they've done like 4 of them since then. I wanted to see George Strait, who wasn't really on a farewell tour, but he decided he was not going to go out on a regular basis. And I was fucked out of that by WSB Radio. But love to have seen Chicago in live in person. Never got to see them. But that's about it.
Michael Gallagher wants to know, Tony, what's your favorite Batman collectible you own?
Yikes. Hey, Michael. I've got a lot of, here, I'll show it. Give me a second, okay?
Okay.
Talk to Bug. I'll show it to you.
Ding dong meat. Ding dong meat. Ding dong meat. Ding dong meat. Ding dong meat is a new shirt available now at loisrules.com. It's riveting audio here. As Tony gets it. He's got it in his hand. What is it? My goodness.
This is the Shakespeare bust that in the 60s Batman show was in the Bruce Wayne's office, and they would open it up and they would turn it. As you can see, it's a bank now, but they would turn it and then open up the doors and slide down the bat poles.
And that's a piggy bank now?
That's a piggy bank now, yeah.
You got any money in there?
Yeah, I got some quarters, yeah.
Maybe there's enough money in there to buy Zabisco another shirt.
Look at that. Woke Bug up, didn't it? Yeah, there you go.
Rajiv says, Tony, how excited are you to see Michael Keaton as Batman again?
I'm pretty pumped, Rajiv. I think it's going to be great. I think it's got a lot of buzz. And just hopefully the movie will live up to the expectations. Sometimes a movie that goes in and out of different times gets you kind of mixed up, you know. The Flash TV show that was on the CW, I watched a lot of that until he started jumping back and forth between time periods, and it kind of got so. But I'm looking forward to seeing Michael Keaton again.
John Hamilton says, "Hey Tony, have you noticed that the new announce desk looks like y'all are playing Jeopardy?"
Didn't think about that, John, but maybe we can have like Dosh or somebody spin a wheel for us.
I would love for you to say, "What is go fuck yourself?" Rajiv says, "Hey Tony, next low blow on Dynamite, you should scream." You want to read it?
He got him in the ding dong meat. I don't think that would work, Rajiv.
Why not? Why not? Is
thanks.
meat a bad word?
No. Listen,
is dong a bad word?
No, of course not. But used together in that expression, it could be. Listen, let me tell you something about Rajiv.
You hate dings. You low key hate dings.
No, let me tell you something about Rajiv.
Okay.
He's getting ready to get married, so his mind's a scrambled mess right now. So there you go. Scrambled mess.
This is going to be an interesting show. Our man Dave Silva has put together something that he calls WTF Facts.
What the fuck facts?
I guess so. Yeah, Tony.
Okay.
Are you ready for your first one?
Yeah.
In Texas, it's illegal for any person to own more than 6 dildos.
Okay, that's I would think a pretty good law. I just wonder what policeman would enforce that.
Well, here's my question. Did they run across folks who had 7 and discovered, if we let them get 7, there's consequences. There's hell to pay.
I would think so.
Like they go, like I saw this funny meme where this guy said, it was like a news story, and a man was hospitalized after eating like 419 chicken nuggets. And the first comment is always, so 418 is the limit.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now we know where to go. And so I'm wondering, like, what happens when you get the 7th replica hog?
Okay, here's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 1 in one ear, 1 in the other. That's 2. 1 up each nostril is 3, 4. 1 in your mouth is 5, and 1 up your ass is 6. Now the 7th one would have to go in the head of your pecker.
Well, hang on now. I think
up your cooter, and maybe that's too far.
Why did you, first of all, how big are these if you're fitting them in your nostrils and in your ear?
I don't know. I don't know how big they are. I don't know.
And secondly,
I was just trying to make it logical.
Why would you automatically assume after you've done all the other holes?
Yeah.
When it comes to genitalia, you went Peter meat first.
Yeah.
I associate that apparatus with the female gender.
Oh, okay. Well, I wanted to be gender neutral.
Well, you are. Speaking of genders, here's another WTF facts from Dave Silva. This is about whales. Blue whales have an average penis length of 98 inches.
What about blue whales on Blue Chew?
Let me ask you this. Is that, in your opinion, because we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Do you think a blue whale or Colonel Robert Parker?
That could be Colonel Robert Parker.
Mm.
I wonder if the person in charge of checking houses in Texas to see how many dildos you have is also the person that maybe has to go out on the coast in Texas, down in Galveston, and get on a boat and measure whale dicks. I wonder if that's the same person.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd want to measure whale dicks.
I don't either.
Doesn't seem like that's the best thing.
I don't think I'd want to go count penis or dildos.
Yeah. I can see how that might not be your dream deal. Todd Thurman. wants to know, who is the biggest heel in Jim Crockett Promotions? The referee, the athletic commission, or the NWA board of directors?
It's always the athletic commission.
Yeah.
Back then, they've changed somewhat now because the ones I've met have been really good guys. But back then, they were just a bunch of shitty heels who wanted to see wrestling and had just threw their clout around. It was a money-making scheme by the state government. That's all it was. It probably is the same thing now, but the guys I met now are good. The guys back then were kind of shitty. So yeah, the athletic commission are the worst.
Here's one from Jason. In the golden years of wrestling, was it harder to keep your composure and not laugh during Ric Flair promos or Jim Cornette promos?
I didn't laugh at either one of them. I smiled, but I didn't laugh back then because I really took my job seriously back then, and I was so excited that I was doing it that I didn't want to lose my job, or I was really into what I was doing, put it that way. So I didn't laugh. I think there's a couple of times that I smiled, and we've shown those on back episodes that are in the archives. But as far as laughing, no, I didn't do that.
Talk to me about last week. We saw you call MJF a prick.
Yeah.
Everybody got excited about that. We've even got a new shirt for it over at loisrules.com.
Wow, we do.
The question is, you got to get pricks approved, or can you go prick off the cuff?
I can. The first time I said prick, I made sure I got it approved by the Warner Brothers people who were there. It was first show. We were in Washington back in 2019. I didn't get the one approved that I said on Wednesday, but I did talk about it with some people in the backstage area and so some people knew I was going to say it.
So I guess my question is, why is ding dong meat not allowed? But prick is just fine.
Well, prick could be prick your finger.
Okay.
Ding dong meat is pretty much. Ding dong meat is pretty narrow. And in my case, short, but it's pretty narrow. You were wondering before we started recording this podcast, you were concerned that we wouldn't be able to go off the rails because I didn't have any matches to talk about.
We're just fine. We're just fine.
We've blown right by that one, buddy.
Yeah, we're just fine.
Yeah.
So, what you're saying is I got to look for double entendre stuff. Ding dong me is too specific.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, I'll go back to the drawing board. We'll draw some different dicks.
Okay.
Todd Thurman wants to know, were you more embarrassed to call the Yeti or the Monster Truck Sumo match?
That was the same night, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Just whip them all together and say I was just embarrassed about that night.
Halloween Havoc 95.
Yeah. I think I was more embarrassed about the sumo truck thing, not because of the sumo truck, but because
a guy died and came back to life.
Yeah, because he allegedly fell into the Detroit River, and you would think he would come back at least soaking wet. And he walked in there like nothing happened. Right? He made his entrance like nothing happened. And then, of course, the Yeti would come, butt fuck Hogan, and we forgot about the sumo truck thing. So,
you know what's crazy is it's almost like you just said, it's more believable to have a mummy come out and butt fuck Hulk Hogan than it is for the Giant to be pushed off a building and come back to life.
Yeah. Yeah.
In your opinion, fictitious mummies that we're calling an abominable snowman, that is more believable than a guy surviving falling off a building.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That was quite a night for our company, wasn't it?
It really was.
Yeah.
Dave McClay says, what's your favorite restaurant in the Boston area?
Well, it'd have to be Cologne's.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
On this day in WWE says, can Tony tell us what he was thinking during this brutally stiff Vader versus Cactus match? He sounds genuinely shocked.
Is that the spin the wheel, make the deal?
Either that one or the power bomb on the concrete.
Okay, I think the spin the wheel, make the deal one, I was generally shocked because they were bleeding all over me and Jesse. And we were kind of grossed out and shocked at the same time. And the power bomb on the, yeah. So, yeah, it was pretty gross to call that. And not only that, when there's another thing too.
Okay.
When you call not a Cactus Jack, but when you call a Vader match,
Yep.
and you are up against the ringside, you're in harm's way. And we always knew that. When Vader hit the floor, there was a chance that I was going to get hit. Because that's the way he was. He hit a lot of people, and he would get into, once the bell rang, Leon was crazy. He went into like another mindset. And if he would walk towards us, I'm thinking, only for a fleeting second, do I hold my ground and call this match, or do I take my headset and fucking run because he may take a swing or push me down? Fortunately, it never happened. But that was always a concern when Vader was there. But the Vader Cactus match that I remember, spin the wheel, make the deal, which wasn't that a coal miner's glove match or something like that?
No, it was Halloween Havoc, but
It was Halloween Havoc.
they had done spin the wheel before with
Okay.
Jake and Sting, but now
Right.
they're doing it for Cactus and Vader.
And that they were so bloody, and they bled on us in the corner, and that was one of the wildest things ever.
When the whole AIDS thing became a thing, did you get nervous about guys bleeding around you?
That I did. That night I did. Yeah, I sure did. Sure did.
How else has AIDS affected your life, Tony? Why did you laugh when I asked that?
Because you mentioned a counselor's voice.
Oh, sorry. Why don't you have a just have a sit over there? Why don't you lay down over there and just tell me about it?
Fortunately, Conrad, it has not affected my life any other way.
I killed my uncle.
Now, hang on a second. That is not true. We had this girl that worked for us in WWE who was like my assistant, Leisha Murphy. Leisha contracted AIDS through a blood transfusion that she had to have for her Crohn's disease, and it's funny, Leisha, when we moved here to Atlanta, Leisha flew in because she was a babysitter for the kids. Kids loved her, and she came in and flew in, and that was the last time we heard from her at all. And I did a search on the internet and found out she passed away in 2004.
Damn.
And it was terrible because I liked Leisha a lot. She's a good kid. So yeah, it did affect me, I should say.
Shout out to Alicia. Justin Davis wants to know, was there a diet change in 98 when Tony started to plump up?
Well, Justin, there was never a diet change. It's just a known fact that I lose weight and gain weight throughout my life. Lose weight and gain weight. I'm losing weight right now. I'm down 16 pounds right now.
Good for you.
In like 10 weeks, I'm down 16 pounds. And I have a goal that I want to get. I want to lose a total of 50. And I'll lose it because I can lose it, but I'll gain it back because that's what I do. I can't explain it. That's just the way I am.
Instagram, a wrestling historian, says, what was the moment that made you stop giving a shit about WCW during its final years? Thanks in advance.
Wow, I don't know if there was one moment that you can point to that says I didn't give a shit. I do know that the constant overproducing that I got on my headset wore me down. And I remember when. Do you remember when? I know the fans will remember this. A lot of the listeners remember this. You remember that one time they took me off of Nitro and they put Scott Hudson on?
Yes.
And I was gone for a couple of weeks. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I didn't mind that so much. What I minded about it was I wasn't told about it until I got to the arena. And Eric said, I just kind of think you're burned out. And I think you need to take a vacation. He said, I know you don't take any time off, but I'm telling you to take a vacation and come back. And he said, the job's yours. It's fine. And I said, okay. So I took the 3 youngest boys, went to Disney for a week. And, but I remember, I think we were in Cedar Rapids or somewhere in Illinois, and Rockford, Illinois, somewhere like that. And I showed up and Scott Hudson was there.
Mm.
And Eric said, yes, Scott's going to do the show for you tonight. And that really pissed me off that I wasn't told in advance, that they just kind of sprung it on me, that Eric did. And I remember thinking, maybe this wrestling is not it's all it's cracked up to be if that's the way they want to approach me. So maybe that, and the fact that, Terry Taylor kept producing me and telling me what to say when he wouldn't listen to what I had to say. So anyway.
Well, let's have a little fun. Let's do some more Silva's WTF facts.
Oh God.
Here we go. This is from the Arkansas Game and Fish on Facebook. It's a post there. Okay. Tony, why don't you go ahead and read this report from Facebook, the Arkansas Game and Fish.
Bridgette Watkins, 43 of Summit, Arkansas, whose picture you can see, mugshot you can see, by the way, if you're with us on our video version on YouTube, who allegedly took fawns into her home and raised the deer with the intention of training them to attack hunters, was taken into custody on Friday. At the time of the arrest, Watkins was in possession of several grams of meth, 4 deer, and many stolen broken electronics. Attention was drawn to Watkins when she began giving meth to the young deer, and they were caught rummaging through people's garbages and back porches. The homeowners followed one of the deer back to Watkins' residence in an attempt to recover his property. He found himself face to face with Watkins wearing only a duct tape bikini, disassembling his clock radio. I guess it should be her clock radio. Charges pending.
It is. They stole his clock radio.
Okay.
And so she comes in and she's wearing a duct tape bikini, taking apart his clock radio.
Yeah. Charges pending further investigation. Wow. Only in Arkansas, huh?
Duct tape bikini or feeding the deer crack. Or meth, sorry.
Yeah.
You ever wanted to see what a deer on meth would look like? Because I know that's abusing an animal, so I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But if they had film of it, I kind of want to see what happens.
Yeah. They had to wrap her up in a duct tape bikini and make her live out there with the deer.
She'd be fine with that.
Well, then good for her. But you can't come within 3 miles of civilization. You got to stay. You can't go plopping through people's yards and subdivisions that are pushed up against woody areas.
You think in an alternate universe, Lois could have created a meth deer army of her own?
No, not unless she was asked to do it on Facebook.
Well, they might have a group for that. Tony, would you rather
God
fight Brock Lesnar,
okay,
or 2 deer hopped up on meth?
I would rather fight Brock Lesnar.
Think those deer would fuck you up?
I wouldn't fight a deer.
Why are you putting your fingers in your mouth?
I don't know.
Is that something you do on Dynamite sometimes? Just like,
yeah, like that to go. Yeah.
Excalibur on the left, JR on the right.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right. Another WTF facts here about giraffes.
Oh, Jesus.
When a male giraffe is ready to mate, he hunts down a female, headbutts her in the bladder until she urinates, and then he drinks her pee.
Oh.
We're just trying to bring you information. We're all trying to learn together here today.
Boy, oh boy. This information that you cannot use.
No.
You cannot use.
Benjamin Big says, you've dug into ECW some. What other companies that Tony never worked for would you like to dig into on the show?
Well, I would like to see some more old Ring of Honor stuff.
We got to do that.
Yeah, because that it was the launching pad for so many great careers that we see now.
Yes, sir.
That are the guys that are wrestling today. So I would like to see some of the old Ring of Honor. We saw, by the way, if you subscribe to our Patreon page, WHW Monday, then we had one of our bonus episodes that just dropped on Sunday, the very last day of April. We watched Cody and Dalton Castle, Final Battle 17, where Cody donned the blonde hair for the first time, and Dalton Castle won the Ring of Honor world title. So that was just kind of a taste of some of the stuff I'd like to see, really.
Here's a fun one from Peter H. Any good memories of shows in Canada?
I've had some bad memories in Canada.
I knew that. I was wondering if you had any good stories.
The only good stories from Canada that I have are when I went to Vancouver, Burnaby, outside of Vancouver, and did voiceovers for the EA Sports video games. That was great memories of Canada, because Vancouver is such a wonderful city. It really is. And to be honest with you, I had a pretty good time in Winnipeg as well. Got to go out to dinner with Don Callis and a friend of his. Raphael Morphy went with us. Takeshita went with us. We all went out to dinner at this Italian restaurant that Don's friend has owned, and it was cold as hell in Winnipeg, but I really, really enjoyed the town. We had a great crowd, and it was good. It was a good experience. So, yeah, Winnipeg was not as bad as I imagined. It was a very, very nice town. I had expected the worst.
Let's do a few questions here from our live group chat here. We got Bryant hanging around. He says, Tony, since you're wearing an Xbox hoodie, I have to ask, why don't you like PlayStation?
Oh, I like PlayStation, you dumbass.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Why is he a dumbass?
Well, because, see, look what I got here. PlayStation 5 controller, and I have been playing over here on my right. I've been playing Uncharted 4, and I've been replaying Red Dead Redemption 2. It's just that I like the Halo games better than anything else. I enjoy those. So, and it's because I would rather shoot aliens than I would shoot people. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And that's why. So, and I know John Hamilton's on here with us, and John we tried to do a multiplayer, and it never worked out, but and here's another thing too. I get a lot of bullshit about playing video games.
From who?
Lois.
Oh, fuck her.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, you should try to have sex with her. Maybe she'd let you.
Nope. Don't want to do that.
You telling me you wouldn't have sex with your wife if it meant you could play video games uninterrupted, unbothered?
Oh, yeah, I might do that.
Yeah. Ed says, from top to the bottom of any big promotion, whose influence is clearer? Michaels and Bret Hart or WCW cruiserweights? Ray's Hall of Fame induction has me thinking of how huge the WCW undercard impact has proven to be on the in-ring product.
Wow, that's really a tough one and a good one. The cruiserweight had a definite impact on the product of WCW. Yeah. Even though we wanted to maybe think it was Hogan and the NWO and all that had an impact too. But I think when you go back and you think that Shawn Michaels was the best wrestler ever, then maybe it's Shawn Michaels had a bigger impact on it. But here's another thought. Vince McMahon was into big guys only, right? Well known.
Right.
Until the cruiserweights started to appear and started giving good matches. And then all of a sudden, a guy the size of Eddie Guerrero became his world champion. Chris Benoit became a champion, right? So maybe they did change the business for the best.
Yambag Jones says April 27th, 1998, DX showed up at the Norfolk Scope to invade Nitro. They rolled down to the back door in a Jeep and the sliding doors closed. What would have happened if those doors opened back up and Ming was standing there staring back at DX?
Well, Yambag, that would have been a great storyline, wouldn't have been?
Yes.
As a matter of fact, we should have let him in.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Ming wouldn't have done anything to him. Now, fans rolling down in the Jeep, trying to get in, That would have been something different. But guys that he knew and worked with, no.
Joseph,
Let me say this.
yes.
This rivalry that plays out on social media between fans,
Yeah.
okay? It's not like that with the boys. They know each other. They like each other. They work with each other. So the only, if you think that a WCW wrestler was going to jump a WWE wrestler because he was backstage back in the day, that wasn't going to happen. A fan come back, that's a different story. Make himself known in the backstage area. So anyway, just wanted to say that. There's a misconception that we all hate each other. And,
No.
and that's not true.
Silly.
We're all in the business.
And by the way, I hate to be that guy,
You can be.
but if you play for the Dallas Cowboys, you don't hate the Redskins. If you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, you hate the Redskins.
That's exactly right.
If you're a Redskin fan, you hate the Cowboys, but if you play for the Redskins, you got friends on the Cowboys and you like to play for them next year. So,
Right. And if you're a Redskins fan, you think, what the fuck happened to my team?
there you go. Well, I know you're losing sleep about it, but not anymore. Thanks to our friends at Chili Sleep.
Yeah, baby.
Sleeping better than ever. Of course, we're talking about Sleep Me. I am such a big fan of Sleep Me. Sincerely, let me talk to you about this. Are you somebody who needs extra recovery from that last workout? That's my wife. Or maybe you just sleep hot in general. Well, that's me. But you don't need to suffer. Wake up tired or wake up sore with Sleep Me's award-winning sleep systems. It's a mattress topper that goes onto your current mattress, so you don't need to buy a new mattress. But it uses water's amazing thermal powers to keep your bed as low as 55 degrees. That means no matter how hot you get, you can sleep at your ideal sleep temperature. Now, these sleep systems work on all types of beds, even the adjustable ones. Maybe you're worried because your partner sleeps at a different temperature at night. Well, no sweat. They've got configurations for dual temperature control. You can go as low as 55 and as high as 115. You can even set it to automatically happen. Let me explain. My wife likes to climb into a warm bed, but she doesn't want to get all hot and sweaty while she sleeps, so she has it cool her down. But then warm her up to wake her up. Sleep Me can automate that with the app, make it super easy for you. They make customizable, climate-controlled sleep solutions that help you improve your entire well-being. I highly recommend it. They've got two different Sleep Me systems, the Dock Pro and the Cube. Now, both sleep systems provide mattress toppers that go as low as 55 degrees, but the Dock Pro is the new latest and greatest, most powerful system for a perfect sleep climate, no matter what your body's heat load or the room temperature. So if you need better athletic recovery, or you're like me and you're suffering from hot, uncomfortable sleep, you got to check out Sleep Me. It's sleep.me/WHW. That's sleep.me/WHW. Plus, as a listener of this podcast, you can save up to 20% on a sleep system if you use the promo code WHW. This really is a game changer. You need to check it out. Sleep.me/WHW saves you up to 20% using our promo code WHW. Joseph wants to know, Tony, do you think Manny Fernandez could have been NWA World's Heavyweight Champion?
No, I do not.
Thank you for that, Tony.
Okay.
Greatly appreciate our.
Well, I'm just trying to, I don't know how to expand on that. I just, no.
All right. Yeah. Just if you want, just go yes and no.
No, I don't want just to
No,
go yes and no.
It'd be more fun just for a little bit.
Okay. Okay. For just a little bit, go yes and no.
This is from Nick Lopez. Any word from Crip Mac lately?
You know what? Does anybody know anything about Crip Mac?
DJ, turn up!
DJ might. I'm not so sure anybody else would.
Motherfucker, I had to look for a yes or no question, and you still didn't give me a yes or no answer. Welcome says, what is Tony's favorite breed of dog?
Chihuahua.
God damn it. That was another no. We should have said no. Jonathan Gavin, can Tony describe what the Wednesday local promos day of each week at JCP was like? How long did it take to record all of them? Were there restarts or did everyone keep going? I recall one on YouTube where Big Bubba turned and covered his mouth to keep from laughing at Cornette.
Yeah, we Okay, so we started about 9 o'clock in the morning, and we sometimes we would go to 6, 7 o'clock at night. The guys would have food brought in for them, chicken, normally fried chicken, sometimes pizza, in the middle of the day, and the guys would cycle in and out, and basically I would stand up there the entire day. And we would go one to the other, one to the other, one to the other. They would in the other room in the back, Wayne Daniel, who was our tape guy and one of our producers, he had like 3 1-inch machines and a 2-inch machine, and he would rack up 3 1-inch machines, and he would go, all right, you do the heels first. I think we did the heels, did the baby faces first. Do the baby faces for Raleigh, and then we do the baby face for Richmond, and then we do the baby face for Charlotte. And then while we're doing the baby face for Charlotte, he would fast forward to the position in the tape for the heels for Raleigh, then Richmond, then Charlotte. And then and he would be moving that all the time. They would be inserted right into the shows. We had no editing equipment. They just went right from us right into the tape machine, and they would be put in a box and they would be shipped out that day for that weekend air. Sometimes we would do stuff for Bob Geigel, stuff for Florida. And that's how Buzz Tyler quit, because he had been waiting there all day to send something to Bob Geigel. And Gene Anderson, who was kind of like the guy in charge of all the interviews, was not going to do anything for Bob Geigel until all the stuff for Jim Crockett got done, because that's who he was paid by. And that's what pissed him off so much. So it was a full day run by Wayne Daniel in tape, Gene Anderson getting the guys ready to go for the interviews, and then Jackie Crockett running the camera. When we first started, they would have a long yellow sheet of paper, that would be fed into it like a dot matrix printer, that they're all hooked together.
Yeah.
And it was long, and he would write up the card, and he would stick it up on this tripod with a magnet at the top, and it was setting like right to the right of the camera. So in the early days, you would see me read down who was there, and I was looking to the right, but I was running it down. And then later on, we got a teleprompter. And so what happened when we got the teleprompter, I took the sheets from JJ, the book that you and David have been, we would take photocopies of those sheets, and I would sit in there and I would type them in to the teleprompter, and Jackie would run the teleprompter for me, as well as run the camera, because it was pretty much stationary camera. He would just kind of move right and left a little bit, or zoom in and zoom out. And so we started using teleprompter. I don't know when that first started, but it was a full day of work. And I can remember that on a Friday, I think I had a car wreck. It was a bang up, and I didn't have my my seatbelt on. So I ran into the back of a car, and without my seatbelt on, my knee hit the dash, and I broke my kneecap. And so I was in a cast from my ankle to my hip for a week, and I still stood up there and did those interviews with that cast on. Lois took a pair of jeans and ripped the hem out or the side of them so I could fit them on over the cast. And so it was a full day of work, full day. And sometimes we would even, we're done at 6, but we got somebody coming in like at 8 o'clock, and they need to do some things. But usually we got done early enough to where the guys would have to go somewhere, like maybe to Raleigh, 2 hours away. So if we were done, if we were the main event at Raleigh was like maybe 9 or 10 o'clock, they would be able to leave Charlotte and get to Raleigh in time. Because even though we had the promos during the day, they worked every day. And that's where, that's where I kind of got close to guys. That's where Arn Anderson and I became friends. Flair and I became friends. Tully and I. And that's kind of where you really got to know the guys, because we were all in that room together for all day. It was a good experience. It was a great experience.
Just Scott wants to know, what does Tony think of Nick Gage?
Oh, I like Nick Gage. I got to talk to Nick when he did his match against Chris Jericho. And I just told him, I had seen the Dark Side of the Ring on about him. And I told him how glad I was to have him with us. And I'm glad we got Nick a pretty good payday. Because anybody who's been going around doing what he's been doing in the independent promotions has certainly paid his dues, hasn't he?
Can you believe that that's been almost 2 years ago? That was July of 01.
Wow.
Time flies, man.
Jesus.
Here's another one about Mean Gene. Could Tony speak a bit about the importance of Mean Gene during WCW's hot streak? I don't think Gene gets nearly enough credit for his work. For me, he was a crucial link between the wrestler and the viewer, and an outstanding continuity guy that meshed the show together.
Continuity, yeah, that could be. You could frame it that way. I just think he was the greatest stick man ever. And in reality, if you lump all announcers together, he may have been the greatest wrestling announcer ever. JR is the greatest play-by-play man ever.
No. Last week you said that Excalibur was the greatest play-by-play. Don't you come on this program now and say it's JR.
I did say that?
Yeah, you said it last week that JR was the best. And I brought up JR and you go, he does color.
You're a one-line motherfucker.
No, there's quotes. I mean, pull it out.
I pull it up all the time. No, don't pull it up. We got to move forward, you cocksucker.
Why? It's our show. We can take all the time we want.
So anyway, back to the question. Mean Gene was, here's
the exact quote. Excalibur, I think, is one of the best, if not the best, play-by-play man I've ever worked with. Much better than that good-for-nothing Jim Ross. Jim Ross heard that. This is an exact quote. I think Schiavone and Excalibur and I are the smoothest team in wrestling. So JR's got heat with Taz, I guess. Left Taz.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
In fairness, who doesn't have heat with Taz?
Well, everybody's got heat with Taz. I wouldn't even think his son, his wife do, right?
I'm not saying everybody has heat with Taz, but Taz has heat with everybody.
Oh, okay.
Like I have an orange t-shirt. And he's fucking pissed about it.
Yeah, I know.
Not that I wear it, just that I own it.
Right. I know.
Saturday.
Speaking of having heat with your wife, can you hear that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This should be good.
Hello?
Hey, honey.
Hey.
We were just wondering how you feeling.
Okay. I'm doing okay.
Okay, well, good talking to you.
Well, what did you want me to say? Did you want me to shout out obscenities or do something funny?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, what?
What's she talking about?
I mean, you just said hi. What am I supposed to do? Just I don't know what to say. What do you want me to say?
Well, we got Brooke on here with us.
Really? Hi, Brooke.
Yeah, that's great.
I don't hear her.
Well, she just.
I don't hear anybody.
Can you hear Conrad?
No.
I hope not.
Okay.
Evidently, you screwed this one up. The phone call.
Okay.
The phone call.
I'm going to put her boobs
Yeah.
on. Just drop her phone.
Yeah. So what is Conrad saying? Can you pass on information, or you're just gonna expect me to mind meld or read your mind or his or what?
If she was going to leave you for a wrestler, who would it be?
If you would,
should I stay on here and breathe heavy until you figure out why I can't hear Conrad?
Okay, so Conrad wants to know if you could leave me for any pro wrestler, who would it be?
I wouldn't. I don't like pro wrestlers.
Okay.
I mean, am I supposed to?
No.
Okay, good. No, I wouldn't leave. Tony, I wouldn't leave you for anybody.
Well, let's
I consider you my soulmate. the love of my life. Why would I leave you for anybody?
How about that?
Hell.
How about that, Conrad? You son of a bitch. Okay. Hey, thanks, honey.
Like Arn said, we're stuck. We're stuck for life.
Okay. Bye.
And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.
All righty. I love you. Bye.
Yeah, bye. Well, that didn't turn out like I thought. Conrad is dead.
Tony, why don't we call your grandkids next and just tell them Paw loves them? Just do some of those calls.
I don't think they can hear you because I'm not putting you through my board. I'm just putting you in my headset. That's what it is. So.
Saturn Dusk says, what does Tony think about stage 1 of James Gunn's DC relaunch, and which one does he hope he gets to cross promote with AEW?
I haven't read that much about his stage 1. I know the Flash is coming out, right? But I don't know that much about it. I haven't read that much about it. So I first of all, I'm excited about it, but I don't know the particulars.
Danny wants to know, you have often mentioned the early days of your fandom with Mid-Atlantic Wrestling.
Yep.
Is there any particular match or show you could comment on? What would it have been? So if you could go back and put yourself in a professional role,
yeah,
and call a show that you saw as a fan,
yeah,
what would it be?
It would have been Flair and Blackjack, their first match that they had at the Greensboro Coliseum. It was a triple main event that night. It was Flair and Blackjack. It was Dick Murdoch and Harley Race for the world title. And there was one more. I think it was Wahoo and Greg Valentine for the U.S. title, a triple main event that night. And I remember going to it. I still have pictures of me and my friends there. That would have been it, because that was the biggest, to me, that was the biggest angle in the Mid-Atlantic territory. And I think Dick Bourne would have agree with that as well. The hat and robe angle. And it was such a great build up to it. They did it so, when looking back on it as a person who's now in wrestling, they did such a great job with that angle that the Greensboro completely sold out. Now, there was another event that I've talked about many times, again at the Greensboro Coliseum. They sold it out completely. And it was for the vacated NWA World Tag Team Championship that was stripped from Ric Flair and Greg Valentine. And they had a one-night tournament at the Greensboro Coliseum. Of course, we went to it, and it was sold out. It was won by Ricky Steamboat and Paul Jones. They won that, but they had the Briscoes were in it, Mass Superstar and Baron Von Raschke were in it. Man, there were some others, too, that were from outside of the territory that came in and was a part of that tournament. That would have been another one to commentate on as well. So those are the two ones that I remember more than any. But again, both were at the Greensboro Coliseum because that was the big arena in Mid-Atlantic. And that was about 3 hours from the house, so that was easy to get to.
What have we done with our lives, Tony? Timothy says, Tony said he's never Steinerized anyone, but he ever helped Klondike Bill pull the Sharpies back out after, and did he sniff them? No,
I never did that. I don't think I don't think Klondike used Sharpies. I don't think he would have been into that. And sniffing them would have been out of the question because the aroma would have been gone. That Sharpie aroma that you get, you open up the Sharpie and you have that Sharpie aroma. I think once you stick it up somebody's ass, that aroma's gone.
You know that for a fact?
No.
Could we do some A/B testing on the WHW Patreon after?
No, I don't think it'd be a good idea.
You don't like to do anything fun anymore.
Not when it comes to sticking shit up your ass.
Well, you can stick it up other people's ass. Why don't you bring all the kids over?
No.
Mother's Day. And then do like the Pepsi challenge with a couple Sharpies. No. Guess which one's been up mom's ass?
No.
What's wrong with that?
Now that's funny, but no.
Speaking of funny, I found myself riding around in a new area. You know, I got the Beach House Jones going and all that. And so I'm just scoping some things out, learning some stuff in the new area, figuring out what my new normal is, all that jazz.
Yeah.
And I discover where our Domino's is. Not a big Domino's guy, but I see, oh, look, there's a Domino's and it's next to this grocery store. And it's the only thing open in this whole strip mall because it's late at night.
Yeah.
And I see this guy park right up against the curb in the fire lane. But, you know, let's be real. There's two people inside. He's fine. And so he comes out and he turns back and he has a conversation with the guy in the doorway. And I thought to myself, we should try to have some fun here. I should try to see, hey, man, you want to make $20? Because if you'll take that pizza out of that hot bag and put your dick through it, I'll buy the pizza and give you $20.
Your mind actually works like this, doesn't it?
Man, I'll tell you what. Must be hard times at Domino's in Pensacola because that boy got to moving fast. And as he's unbuckling, yells, cash, right? So I hand it to Megan. We roll the window down. She holds the cash out. I saw a man fuck a pizza right there. Parking lot in Pensacola.
Pensacola. You know,
$20 is $20. I mean, all that shit we've read all these years, Tony, about a Florida man.
Yeah.
Oh, that shit's real. Florida man.
Well, you know, it's from the what do you call the that part of Florida?
The Panhandle?
It's from the Panhandle of Florida, which, by the way, is the home of Adam DeMoy. So we know that they're idiots up there because he represents them all.
Mr. Briscoe told me, I don't live in Florida. The Panhandle's still Alabama.
Oh, gotcha. Well, there you go.
Which, you know, made me feel better. I like being from Alabama. I don't want to fuck a pizza in a parking lot. Is that what my future as a Pensacolian would look like?
Yeah. So when you move, are you going to have the internet that you have right now?
Yeah, I already got business internet set up down there. Sure do.
Good. Very good.
It's all set. Mike says, if Bill Watts had not decided to ban moves from the top rope, basically killing the light heavyweight division and title, do you feel the division would have lasted through the entire run of WCW? And how would it affected the more fondly remembered cruiserweight division? That's interesting because if they kept it going, would it have just been on guys like Flying Brian and Brad Armstrong and Jerry Lynn and those types, or
no?
Would they have still jumped into the lucha stuff?
They would still would have jumped into lucha stuff. I don't think that what Bill Watts established or didn't establish had any impact on what was to come in WCW. And because when you get a new boss and you get a new direction, everything changes. They do not look back. They move forward. And I think anything that Bill Watts would have done, Eric would have moved on and tried something different. So I don't think that would have had any impact. But I would like to have seen, like he said, I like to have seen the top rope stuff.
Right.
You know, nobody from the top rope. What the hell? What are we doing? I wonder if Bill Watts, in his advanced years now, watches any of this shit and what he thinks about it. Did you ever have a chance to talk to him?
I have. I've talked to him a few times, and no, he does not watch nor care.
Okay.
Philip says, since Tony no longer reads rap, can we have him read heavy metal?
First of all, Philip Qualls needs a life. Okay. And that's all I've got to say about that.
Andrew wants to know, has working with Conrad, watching old shows given you a positive or negative look to nostalgia from your past?
Andrew, it's a good question. It's about 50-50. I'm never have been the type of person that goes back and says, man, I did some good work back then. I'm a very, very critical of myself. Had it not been for Conrad, I would have never watched any of the old stuff at all. Ever. Ever. I do not watch we do control centers. As a matter of fact, I'm set up here. You can see the light standards right now. The camera back here. I'm set up to do control centers. Now, they send me the copy of the control center. Never look at it. Don't like to listen to myself. Don't like to watch myself. So had it not been for what we're doing here, I would have never watched it. And sometimes I can go back and feel pretty good about some of the matches that I saw and some of the things that happened. And then sometimes I can go back and feel pretty bad about it. One thing I really feel negative about is that my voice has changed so much, but that's part of growing old. I've mentioned on this show before that I'm not so sure I could still do the play-by-play with the energy that I had at one time. Maybe I could, I don't know. I have to do warm-ups for my voice before I even announce now. So that's changed. Back then I didn't have to. But back then I was pushing my voice so much that I was warned by a doctor at the Duke Medical Center that I needed to back it off a little bit. Yeah, it's good and bad that we go back and we watch. I feel good about some things. I feel bad about some things. I really feel good about some of the old stuff that I missed while I was gone that doesn't involve me. Like when we watched ECW and I started enjoying that. We watched some old Ring of Honor stuff. We watched some WWE. Another bonus podcast we did this past Sunday is watching Eddie Guerrero and JBL from Judgment Day 2004. What a phenomenal fucking match. My God. And the blood was unbelievable. I never saw that, would have never seen it, would have never even heard about it had it not been for this podcast. So there's some positive things, not necessarily stuff that I did, but there's been some positive things by looking back.
Let's do a live question here from our live chat. This is a great one.
Okay.
Devin Dowling says, Kyoto told us this week about quote unquote hog measuring competitions backstage that guys would win money for having the biggest hog. Did Tony ever compete or bet on this backstage game?
I've never seen that backstage game.
You never went to an old fashioned hog off?
No, I never went to, and again, please keep this in mind. If they did it in the men's locker room, I didn't hang out in the men's locker room. The announcers all had their room, or there's a VP room now where we hang out some, or we're in Tony's office. Back in the WCW days, we had an announcer room. We didn't hang out with the guys. I will walk back in the men's locker room now and say hello to the guys every time we do a TV show, but I don't hang out in there at all. So, and I guess the referees did, so Kyoto would see things like that, but I never did.
Mike Hawk says, whose chair is up higher, his or Taz's?
Taz, please, Mike, take notice when we're on set. Now, I make sure my chair is the lowest.
Great question here that you need to know the answer to. We all need to know. We've all wondered this. Mm-hmm. Frank Smith is the only one brave enough to ask. Has Tony ever given Lois an Alabama Hot Pocket?
Whoa. What is that?
Throw it in your Google machine. Just read it to us. Okay. What is Alabama Hot Pocket? Oh, there it is. You want to read it there?
When a guy shits in a girl's vagina during intercourse, she smells like shit. Brian gave her an Alabama Hot Pocket. Girl won. Oh. Okay. Wow, somebody actually posted shit like this. Wow. They actually do this in Alabama?
No.
Okay. You learn something every week.
So you're going to answer the question? I mean,
no.
You're not going to answer it, or no, you've never done it?
I've never done it. I never will.
Have you ever noticed ever tried to poop back and forth?
Try to poop back and forth.
That's right. Just back and forth. Sharing is caring. Relationship building.
God. Oh, Lord. No, I would never look back and seen the matches that I've seen, nor would I've ever heard talk like this, even though I'm a hillbilly.
Les Grossman says, how much do you spend on hair dye these days? And how long before you hit the VKM syndrome and start waxing the eyebrows and wearing lipstick?
I don't color this, and we're getting some gray streaks in there. Lois says, "Go be soon. You have to color this." I do color this, and I use Just for Men. So I don't spend that much. Maybe $7 a month at the most.
You coloring those pube hairs?
No, why would I color my pube hairs?
I don't know, something festive, something different.
Something festive. Well, I just
You think, hey,
well, I just hang some ornaments from my pubes.
you don't do that around Christmas?
No, do you?
Oh, absolutely. I hang jingle bells on my balls,
Okay.
and I do a mistletoe belt buckle.
Yeah.
Real popular at parties. Hey, what I was thinking is maybe around Halloween, what if you dyed your pubes orange and you showed Taz? And you called it a Tazzle lantern. Little known fact, Taz's gimmick was a Halloween gimmick, which is why you could see whenever Sabu would hit him in the head, candy Tootsie Rolls would fly out of his ears.
I'm gonna recant that story to him this week.
I'm gonna get a text, bro. You want me to shave my pubes and dye them orange? No, that's not what was said. All right, Tony. Silva has a setup for a would you rather here.
Oh, Lord of mercy.
Would you rather only be able to orgasm while brushing your teeth or only be able to have an orgasm while tying your shoes?
First of all, I don't tie my shoes. So I guess it would be by brushing your teeth.
So you'd be coming twice a day.
Yeah,
Wow.
I guess so.
Jeff says, I'd like to hear Tony's dream super card.
Wow.
If he had to book Schiavone Mania, who would be there and what kind of matches? Any wrestler from any era, just book what he would consider his dream matches. So listen, we don't need a whole card. Give me 4. All time.
Let's see. Steamboat against Kenny Omega.
Okay, there's one.
The Young Bucks against the Anderson brothers.
Arn and Ole? Or
Gene and Ole.
okay.
Let's see. Bruno Sammartino.
Wow.
I'm just throwing out names here. Bruno Sammartino against Brock Lesnar.
Okay.
Against Brock Lesnar.
All right.
Orange Cassidy against the Juicer.
That's your dream. That's Schiavone Mania.
That's Schiavone Mania.
I could shit on a napkin and it draw more money than that.
Okay.
Josh Palmer says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much does Lois rule?
Probably 10. Yeah.
Logan wants to know if a goose could goose a goose. How many goose would goose a goose before getting goosed by another goose?
Well, if a goose could goose a goose, he'd get his ass kicked. Okay. By that goose. And that means there wouldn't be any more geese to goose. So it'd be only one goose getting the goose, and then he would die.
Scott Stever wants to know, please hashtag ask Tony if he would ever consider partying with Marty Jannetty.
No, absolutely not.
Well, I'm gonna. Christopher Hewitt says, although he's discussed about Rushmore, who had the most beautiful penis that Tony ever saw?
Oh my God.
And who is on his Mount Rushmore of farters? Who had the best looking ding dong meat?
There's only one ding dong in wrestling I've ever seen, and that's Flair's, because everybody's seen that. So that would have to be it, right?
I don't know. You were telling us before we clicked record today, showering with Hobbs and Wardlow the other day,
and also we had the Mount Rushmore farting would be Dusty. Would it be on there?
Well, he's on there, but you got 3 more heads. I mean, we know Big Show, he used to leave piles. Is he?
So you got to put him on there. That's right.
So Dusty, Big Show, we got 2 spots left. All-time farters, the Mount Rushmore farts.
Well, I think I would be on there.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, so we got you, Dusty, Big Show.
Big Show. I guess it'll be Andre.
Did you ever hear an Andre fart?
I've been told about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Andre, Big Show, yourself, and Dusty.
Right.
Let's remove you and add one more mythical farter.
One more mythical farter.
What a wondrous job he's doing reducing flatulence, just one after another. Really rifle shotting those motherfuckers.
It would have been.
I mean, Vince shit his pants in Gorilla once because he
did?
tried. Apparently, Briscoe has a weak stomach, and if you fart around him, he'll start throwing up.
Really?
Yeah, I know that from experience. Anyway, Vince gets the protein farts because all he does is eat chicken and steak every meal.
Yeah.
And so it was ready to come out. And so he let it rip in Gorilla right when he was supposed to go on camera as Mr. McMahon. And he ripped it so hard, Briscoe started gagging because Vince shit his pants.
Oh, God.
He went down to the ring with doo-doo dripping down his leg.
Oh, no. Really?
Did his promo.
With doo-doo dripping down his leg.
Goddamn, had to get the job done. And the cameramen were told specifically, obviously, don't shoot that shit. Because if you shoot shit, you might be shit out of luck and shooting for a new job.
Wow.
So nobody shot the shit.
Okay, good.
Do you think you could continue a show if you shit? Like, let's say Excalibur and Taz made you laugh, as they do.
Yes.
And let's say you had an upset stomach, as you sometimes do.
Yeah.
And let's say you just squeezed it right on out and you shit yourself live on TNT.
Yeah.
Would you power through to the next segment?
No.
Try to do a bathroom break?
No.
You just get up and go?
Yeah.
You're just going to abandon the television program?
Yes, I've done that before.
You've shit your pants and just left?
No, I've abandoned the program before.
And why did you abandon it before?
Had to pee.
I got you. Is there a rule of thumb?
You didn't know because it was the 4-man crew on Rampage.
Yeah, so we just heard 13 other voices. It didn't matter.
That's right.
I hope when you guys do All In, you have a comically long commentator desk. Like if the commentator desk ran the full length of the stage, but there was just a gap in the middle for the guys to run through, that'd be great. Doug wants to know, my first wrestling memory is the old TBS show where the Horsemen were putting the boots to somebody with Tony yelling over it. Finding out he's essentially an older version of me gives me nothing to look forward to. LOL. Comic book question. Did Tony ever read any Dick Grayson as Batman stories? If not, my suggestion is The Black Mirror. It's a favorite. Thanks for the memories, Mr. Schiavone. Forever grateful.
I never did read any Dick Grayson as Batman. Dick Grayson was Nightwing. But I don't remember him as Batman, so I never did read any of those stories. No, that's interesting though. There's so many Batman stories out there. I think it would be very difficult to get them to read them all. To be honest with you, so many different writers and illustrators, and the Joker became Batman at one time. He was, I believe, the Batman who laughed. So. Anyway.
Well, here's one. This is a fun one. Henson Shaving, boys and girls. That's right. We just love this sponsor. Listen, blades and wrestling go hand in hand, but this is the best blade you've ever put in your hand. Seriously, Henson Shaving. Thanks so much of these guys. Family-owned business. You know I love that. But it's an aerospace parts manufacturer. That's right. These cats have made parts for the International Space Station and the Mars rover. And now they're bringing precision engineering to your doggone face. They're using their aerospace grade CNC machines to make metal razors that are just 0.0013 inches, which is less than the thickness of a human hair. It means a secure and stable blade with a vibration-free shave. It also has built-in channels to evacuate hair and cream. That makes clogging virtually impossible. I love this razor. I think it's the best shave I've ever had. I just love how substantial it feels. I mean, it feels like the last razor I'll ever need. And that's what I like best about Henson Shaving, is they wanted to make the best razor, not necessarily the best razor business. There's no plastic here, so it's not going to break on you. It's not flimsy like some of those others. There's no subscription gimmicks, so you're not getting stuff you don't need. I'm not trying to squeeze every dollar out of you they can. There's no proprietary blades. You could just use a standard dual-edged blade on this thing. But want the Henson blades because they're 0.0013 inches. And besides all that, there's no planned obsolescence. And let's just be honest. Normally, when something is better, because Henson shaving is better than what you've been doing, it costs more money. We understand that. Rarely is it better and somehow cheaper. You see, razor blades are expensive. Go down to the drugstore. They keep it behind lock and key. Well, that's over. You see, once you own a Henson razor, you're going to get the benefits of the old school feel and the benefits of the new school tech. But the biggest benefit is that once you own the razor, it's only like $3 to $5 to replace the blades. Not $3 to $5 a week, not $3 to $5 a month, not $3 to $5 a quarter, $3 to $5 annually. If you shave every day, it's $5. If you shave every other day, it's $3. What are we doing? It's time to say no to subscriptions. It's time to say yes to a razor that will last you a lifetime. Visit hensonshaving.com/WHW and pick the razor for you and use the code WHW and you'll get 2 years worth of blades free with your razor. Just be sure to add them to your cart. That's 100 free blades when you head to hensonshaving.com/WHW and use the code WHW. Adam Leeson says, Tony, which WWF match would you have liked to commentate on? And AEW is coming to the UK. What's your favorite thing about England?
Okay. What match would I like to commentate on in the WWE?
Yeah.
Are we talking about current stuff?
All time.
All time. Well, I would have loved to have commentated on WrestleMania 3's main event.
Yeah, that's a big one.
With Hogan and Andre. I love to have been able to do that. I think that would have been cool to do it. What's my favorite thing about the UK? I've been there a couple of times. And of course we did a lot of sightseeing. And I was able to with Lord Alfred Hayes. Back in the late '89, we did the world tour, and I got to drive on the quote unquote wrong side of the road, and I got to drive all the way from London to the cliffs of Dover to get a jet foil across the channel, and that was pretty cool to see the countryside. I think my favorite thing is kind of the landscape and the people and the wrestling fans, because they're pretty rabid over there about pro wrestling, and they're very knowledgeable. So I think that's it.
Here's one from Lucas. Who was the best non-main event talent you've seen in your time in the industry? And what was the reason that person didn't get a main event push?
It would be Brad Armstrong. And I think the reason he didn't get a push is that he just did not have the personality for it.
Frank wants to know, does Tony remember his last appearance on the final episode of WCW Worldwide? If so, why was there such a long, awkward pause in between takes where he appears laughing after he answers a fan question of one of his favorite wrestlers, who it was to interview in the Ask WCW segment?
God, Frank.
So I guess there's a big pause.
Okay.
You answer a question, or you're asked, hey, who's your favorite guy to interview here in WCW? And you start laughing, and then there's a long pause. Was that an inside joke?
No. God, I don't know, Frank. Thanks for asking. When was that? When was my last Worldwide?
Probably 2001.
Yeah.
DC Olympus says, Tony, why do you refer to your time in the WWF as 12 months when it was January of 89 to mid-April of 1990? That's 15 months, you simple motherfucker.
Thanks for the question.
Christopher wants to know, what was the maddest Lois ever got at Tony? What were you in trouble for?
Okay, so one time I had my sister Franny and her kids Kathy and Danny, I think, or I know Kathy came to Greensboro to visit us. And there was a lot of people at the house. And so Kathy and I just said, fuck it, we went to see a movie. And Lois was looking all over for me the day before cell phones. And I got back and she was like, where the fuck were you? I said, well, Kathy and I went to a movie. You mean you just walked out of the house and abandoned all of us? I said, well, there were so many people here. I mean, there were. It's just like, you didn't miss us. And so we were upstairs in her mom's house in one of these bedrooms. And she actually hit me in the back of the head. Boom.
Matt Godfrey wants to know, Tony, what's your favorite beer?
I don't like beer, man.
Wait,
At all.
Your son brews beer.
I know he does, and I don't drink it.
Mike Sloan says, did Tony ever witness any of the JCP guys do the walk of shame?
No.
Jason Todd wants to know, can you explain the name or term Stagger Lee?
Yeah, that was Stagger Lee was given to Lee Marshall. I guess it was by Dusty Rhodes, and it's based on a song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Stagger Lee. So, and I can't remember the song. Do you remember what the Stagger Lee song was? It called Stagger Lee? It may have been called Stagger Lee. Let me look it up. Let me put in my Google machine. But anyway, that was Dusty Rhodes' name for Lee Marshall. Stagger Lee. Yeah. It was a song.
Time for a would you rather that Dave Silva put together for us. Everybody loves these. Tony, would you rather use mayonnaise as lubricant or ketchup as lubricant?
Probably ketchup.
I'm curious your thinking there.
Mayonnaise is gross.
It is. Thank you. Great answer.
Yeah.
Drew Landry wants to know, which was the better tag team, the Rock and Roll Express, the Midnight Express, or Arn and Tully, and why?
The best tag team was probably the Midnight Express, Bobby and Dennis.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Why? Because they had a great manager and they knew how to put guys over. They really did. They knew how to make baby faces look tremendous and give them a great match as well.
Gavin wants to know, have you seen Al Snow's comic book, and would you ever want to be a character in a comic book about you that isn't biographical?
I've not seen it, and the answer is no, I would not want to be a character in a comic book.
This is a great question from Josh. If they made a movie about Klondike Bill, who would you want casted?
Wow. Cast as Klondike Bill. Man, I don't know.
I mean, I'm sitting right here, Tony.
Maybe Conrad Thompson.
I mean, that'd be a good. I mean, I could pull off Klondike Bill. Are you kidding?
Oh, there's no question. You have a sick mind, just like he did.
Oh, I have a sick mind.
Yeah, it wouldn't take much for you to get those lines down.
You earlier on this program talked about trying to put dildos up your penis hole. That was you, not me.
No, I didn't say that. I don't think.
Yeah, you did. You talked about where you put the sixth one. You ran out of holes after you put them in your ears and nose and eyes.
Okay.
You ever fucking armpit?
No. I just said there was a possibility.
Fernando Diaz wants you to play a couple games here.
Yep.
F, Mary, Kill.
Oh, jeez.
Taz, Eddie Kingston, and Disco Inferno.
Yeah.
So you're killing Disco.
Killing Disco. I guess I would marry Eddie Kingston because I wouldn't want to marry Taz.
Facts.
Yeah.
So that, what are you going to do to Taz?
I guess I'd fuck him.
Silva, please send the clip of that to Taz. I think. Then we've got three more. I can't believe this is real. Jim Ross, Conrad, and Eric Bischoff.
Okay. Wow.
Right? That's tough.
Yeah, that's tough. I'd fuck Conrad.
Okay, that's nice.
Okay. I'd marry JR because I'm stand to inherit a lot of money.
Yeah, you're just playing the odds.
Right.
And then that means you kill Eric.
I'd kill Eric.
Why would you?
He's out in Wyoming. He wouldn't be missed.
Okay. I mean, Eric's better looking than me. Why wouldn't you bang him and kill me?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, income. We do a show together. I forgot.
Yeah,
right. Curtis, Tony, I know Bruce did it back in the day, but I want to hear what you think that Kamala's penis sounds like. Hey, can you give us impressions of what you think other wrestler penises sound like? That's
Well,
decent.
I
So
think
listen, let me go ahead and give you. I don't know. Are you familiar with Bruce and Kamala and the penis?
yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think Kamala's penis sounded like?
I think it sounds like beep, 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 beep. I think all sound like that because they have such small mouths.
What about Ric Flair? What do you think his sounds like?
It sounds like it's probably a little tongue hanging out of it.
You think Ric Flair's penis has a tongue hanging out of it?
Probably so. Yeah.
Do you think that's what's going on with your hemorrhoids? Those are just tongues?
Could be.
Let that be a lesson to you, boys and girls.
Sure are hard to clean. I can tell you that.
The lesson here is if you sit around and watch WCW die and know that things should be handled differently, but you don't speak up or do nothing,
You'll get hemorrhoids.
stinky balloons come out of your asshole.
That's right. You'll get hemorrhoids.
Yeah. Minimax wants to know, was there ever a time they wanted to involve you in an angle outside of commentary while in WCW? Did you ever take a bump in WCW?
Well, Vince Russo wanted me to get involved with an angle with Tank Abbott, which I declined. And of course, I did that little angle with TNA back in the day, and I guess in 03 with Tenay, but that's about the only time I was involved in an angle. And of course, MJF pushed me down. I guess that's kind of involved in an angle, right? When he pushed me down when we were at the Arthur Ashe Center.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the only times I've really been involved in quote unquote an angle. And I guess I was last week, a couple weeks ago, when I interrupted MJF and announced that would be a 4 Pillars match coming up tonight from Baltimore. So I guess that's as much I've been involved in angles. But I guess you can say since I've announced and called them, I've kind of been involved in every angle in some way.
Here's one from Carl Hayes. If Tony would be a character out of a movie, who and what movie? Maybe like top 3 choices outside of the ones starring Whitney.
Well, I wouldn't mind being Batman in a movie. I wouldn't mind being James Bond in a movie. I'd like that a lot. And I would like to play a Star Wars character. Maybe a Star Wars character that hasn't been developed yet. Maybe like a bounty hunter or something in Star Wars.
2 Count Kyle says, Tony, what's your stance on deathmatch wrestling? I recently rewatched Mox versus Hangman's Texas Death. I dug it, but I know some thought they took it too far. Is there a place for it in wrestling, or is it too freak show in your opinion?
Well, I always thought there was a place for a Texas Death Match in wrestling, although the Texas Death Matches that I remember are much different than the ones there are now. I think that in this era of tables and ladders and crazy things that we do, I think Texas Death Matches are kind of plain compared to that. So I don't have a problem with it at all. You know, we've gotten to the point to where it's fans want to see more. They want to see more high spots. They want to see more wrestlers go through furniture. They want to see more blood.
Wrestlers go through furniture just cracks me up.
Well, they do.
I just love that phrase though. Like, I hope y'all run that as a commercial, like thrilling stunts, acrobatics, blood, violence, gore, wrestlers through furniture.
That's what it is.
I don't know why it tickles me, but I need to see like an Ashley Home furniture match with Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega. And they just go all around fucking up dinette sets and kitchen tables and a couple recliners. And dude, that'd be hilarious. Let's do it.
Well, watch what you ask for. You never know, right? I mean, we've had stadium stampede matches.
Yeah. But a furniture store match. Like over in Japan back in the day, there was a grocery store match. And then they ripped it off years later with Austin and Booker T. And they did it on Raw. And people still talk about it to this day.
Yeah.
I think if you guys could just wear out a Badcock or a fucking Haverty's.
Yeah.
First of all, you could get it sponsored, and then it would be so great for Excalibur to know all the names of the furniture too. You know what I mean?
And where they were made.
Oh God. Not the North Carolina's own California Dream Sleeper pull-out sofa. Can you imagine?
Oh my God.
Please pitch that.
Yeah.
Eric wants to know, I can't believe this is a real question. Would you rather pee on an electric fence or try to fight Ming?
Pee on an electric fence.
Okay. We'll do a couple of questions here from the live group chat. Denovius Mac wants to know, was there ever any storyline you were part of that made you feel extremely uncomfortable?
No. Not at all.
Here's a great one from Josh. Is there a moment on commentary that made you laugh to the point that you had to mute yourself?
Yeah, when Shockmaster was blown through the wall, when he fell through the wall. Jesse and I laughed hard, and thank God we went to a commercial break. We were fucking dying. We really were. Because again, and I've brought this up many times, but it's worth repeating. I know what happened. You go back and watch it, but when it happened and it went boom and it flashed, it looked like from first look that he was blown through the wall.
Yeah.
It looked like someone had stuck a Roman candle up his ass and went, shot right through the wall. But it didn't happen like that, so. It's tremendous.
John Hamilton says, here's a question for you, Tony. How has technology made your job easier?
Okay, well, John, technology has made my job more difficult in many ways, like social media has made my job more difficult. But it's made my job easier in that I can do stand-ups at my house now. Broadcast quality stand-ups at my house now. I used not to be able to do that. And you can edit video, broadcast quality video from your laptops. I mean, that's how they edit now on computers. And so that's how it made it much easier. We do a lot of things in the office now. We text a lot to each other. Tony wants to see you. That's technology. We didn't have texting back then. And we have shared Google Docs we use now as well. So that all has helped us a great deal. I think no more than what you see behind you that I'm going to shoot today, the control centers. Being able to do things at home, that has helped out a great deal. And it has made our life much easier in that AEW does not have a home office. Tony has a house in LA, Chicago. He has one in Jacksonville and one in London. So we do not have an office we have to go to every day. I live in the Atlanta area. People live all over, and we do TV, and that's because the technology has enabled that. So it's been good. But again, the bad thing is, John, is that social media has made our jobs very difficult, especially if you're in talent relations. It's made it a nightmare at times.
Let's do, I love this one because we got some live questions here, and there's two that I think we should close with. Darren Staley wants to know.
All right, Darren.
Who would win in a hog-off, Lex Luger or Taz?
Wow. I would think probably Taz. Don't know why I think that, but probably Taz.
Here's one from maybe the best one. Save the best one for last.
Okay.
I'm disappointed I never thought of this.
All right.
Shout out to Devin Dowling. He wants to know. Tony and Lois ever pee together? Lois spread her legs and Tony shoot in between.
Devin, when I sign your action figure, I'm going to say, Devin, go pee on yourself, you little shithead. And the answer is no.
Oh, I've done it. It's awesome. I recommend.
Well, really?
Yeah.
Does Megan allow you in the bathroom when she's in there?
Well, since we're just discussing all of our business, she prefers doors and floors. So if she's got to handle business, needs to be floors and doors between us.
Okay.
She'll go upstairs. She'll go downstairs.
Gotcha.
She'll lock the bedroom door,
Yeah.
the bathroom door, the toilet door, doors and floors.
Well, she's a shy shitter then.
She's a shy shitter.
Yeah.
However, on PP Jones, she'll just leave the door open. We can have a whole conversation.
Yeah.
I'll walk in there.
Yeah. No, not me. Not us.
Say, spread them. I got to pee too. Bam.
Wow. What a great marriage you guys have.
Oh, that's the
Great
best.
marriage. Yeah. Great marriage.
Well, next week, Tony, we're back to our roots, watching some old ECW shit. Hardcore Heaven 2000. Lance Storm is going to challenge Justin Credible for the ECW title. Balls Mahoney will take on Masato Tanaka. Tajiri will square off against Steve Corino. Rob Van Dam and Jerry Lynn will continue their feud. That's what we're doing next week here on WHW. We should also mention that the book from May of 85 is coming up at adfreeshows.com. The brilliant booking mind of Dusty Rhodes to the excellent penmanship of J.J. Dillon. We're going day by day, show by show, gate by gate through Jim Crockett Jr.'s personal red books with David Crockett on a series we're calling The Book. January, February, March, and April of 1985 are all posted live for you to enjoy at adfreeshows.com. And before you know it, May of 85 is on deck. By the way, if your business targets men 25 to 54 years old, there's no better place to advertise than right here on What Happened When. You've heard us do ads for some of the same companies for years. Why is that? Well, because it really works. And with our super targeted audience, there's very little waste. Go right now to advertisewithwhw.com and find out more about advertising here on What Happened When. Also want to mention you can interact with us on social media at WHW Monday on Twitter and Facebook, at WHW Podcast over on Instagram. But the best way to keep up with us is to go subscribe to our YouTube. It's WHW on YouTube.com. That's WHW on YouTube.com. Lots of new fun merch, including a new Halo shirt, the TDT shirt. That's all I got to say about that. I said to myself, self, you simple bitch, and the big motherfucker shirts, which is only available in big motherfucker sizes, all now at lowestrules.com. Tony, we had a lot of fun today.
Yeah.
Hemorrhoids are no laughing matter.
Right.
But I appreciate you being a good sport and let us talk about your stinky little balloons today.
Right. Thank you very much, Conrad. And we are desperately out of time.
We'll see you next week right here on What Happened When. Fight Plus is the ultimate digital platform for live sports and entertainment, and they're now offering a free 7-day trial at tryfight.com. Fight Plus is packed with a premium live event schedule, over 1,000 hours of live action every year, and a library of more than 4,000 hours on demand, plus exclusive content you can't get anywhere else. Fight is a great partner of ours. They support us, so let's support them. Give that free 7-day trial a shot, and you'll be a member for life. That's tryfight.com. TRYFITE.com.
Hey guys, Eric Bischoff here, and just want to call a quick timeout. I want to tell your listeners about what I've been telling everybody at over at 83 Weeks for quite a while now, about all the cool things that are happening over at adfreeshows.com.
An all-new edition of The Insiders is here, as Conrad welcomes David Zaadi, the man behind so many iconic video packages WWF fans grew up on, including one that left Vince in tears.
You got it. And Conrad, I swear, I walked outside the studio, and Vince was sitting down on the concrete floor, crying hysterically, just saying thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. I went up to the full cabin. He says, good job. Can't wait to see it. 15 minutes later in the stairwell, Vince is still sitting down in a different spot now, crying, saying thank you. Thank you.
Jim Johnston created the soundtrack for generations of WWE fans, with some of the most iconic themes in history. Jim sits down with Conrad to take us behind some of those classic themes, including The Ultimate Warrior.
And then I recorded that. And then just over that, you're just doing. You know, it's so simple, but that's what felt like him.
That's just a small taste of what we've got waiting for you. With 4 levels to choose from, see for yourself why ad-free shows is the best value in wrestling today. Sign up now at adfreeshows.com.